Representative Henry Cuellar is a bit of a terrible person, along with being one of the most corrupt corporate Democrats, taking money from fossil fuel industry and other corporate interests, and voting against codifying Roe v. Wade when he had the chance. Well, now new details have come out that he is a pretty terrible boss. In fact, according to Jezebel magazine, Cuellar had fired his acting chief of staff for requesting maternity leave. Now, let me give you the details here. Former Cuellar staffer Christy Small had signed onto the Texas congressman's staff back in 2018 when she was 28 weeks pregnant. The congressman's response to her initial request for maternity leave is that we need to talk about it. He then cited a 90-day probationary period for all new hires. However, of course, according to Small, no such condition of employment was contained in her employment agreement or the employee handbook, so effectively not there. Nonetheless, Cuellar not only did not approve her parental leave, paid leave? No, you don't get no paid leave. On October 16th, he then fired her over the phone, citing her poor job performance while she was in her third trimester. About 2 weeks later, Small delivered her baby at 30 weeks. Unfortunately for her, it was stillbirth. So, look, there are pregnancies that pregnancies can end for a variety of reasons. Naturally, it's pretty awful when that happens, when you want that child, when you're expecting that child. Again, sometimes it can happen as a result of like stress. And while losing your job, that's kind of stressful, isn't it? I'm not saying that that's the cause, but I'm just saying it probably might not have helped. Maybe contributed. I can't say for certain. In these cases, you never really can point to just one specific cause for a stillbirth or a miscarriage. But anyway, it gets worse. Not only was she fired, and not only does she have to go through the trauma of losing a baby that she wanted and that she chose to have, now Cuellar, his office, had actually attempted to coerce staffers to fabricate poor job performance reviews to justify the dismissal after Small sued Cuellar's office in May of 2019, alleging both sex and pregnancy discrimination under federal law. Cuellar's office tried to dismiss the lawsuit and submitted disparaging letters from Small's colleagues about her job performance justification. According to court documents reviewed by Jezebel, Cuellar himself requested staffers to write these letters after he fired her. At least 5 were dated after Small had filed her lawsuit. Wow. Interesting. Now, of course, federal judge Trevor N. McFadden had denied Cuellar's motion to dismiss that case. He wrote the congressman solicited written statements from his staffers about Small's performance after he had fired her, and the staffers provided their statements after Small filed this action in May of 2019. He said, perhaps Cuellar was simply looking for corroboration of Small's poor performance, but a jury might also see this as an attempt to collect post hoc justifications. Shocker. So now look, Cuellar, he's been in the news quite some time for, being allegedly pro-life, right? I'm pro-life. I'm a pro-life Democrat. I'm in favor of all of this pro-woman stuff, and yet he's acting like a Republican. I mean, fighting for somebody for asking for maternity leave when they're going to give birth. I thought pro-lifers are supposed to care about the fetus. But no, apparently not. No, apparently they were lying when they said they do anything to protect the unborn. I mean, Cuellar heard this request and said, no, your most important job right now is to help me get reelected. That's it. I don't give a damn about you and your baby. And in fact, you're fired, and then I'm going to make up how you did a bad job. Again, aside from the stillbirth here, losing your baby, the worst part is Cuellar then getting his staffers to write negative reviews, negative statements to justify her firing. So he is an absolute gross person, gross dude. And yet Nancy Pelosi and Jim Clyburn, they were out there stumping for him, saying, oh, you need to elect him, elect Henry Cuellar, against this primary opponent, Jessica Cisneros, who has a good chance of winning. Look, Nancy Pelosi said, I can't believe what a slap in the face it is to women for the Supreme Court to get rid of Roe. But then, of course, she turns around and actively supports a man who opposed codifying Roe into law and then fires his pregnant staffers. You know why she supports him, of course. Because at the end of the day, they have the same donors. She knows he's going to be very reliable. He's a reliable vote in pushing corporate rule. Now, by the way, corporations, they've also fired women who are pregnant and, support things like at-will employment, for example, where you can fire anybody for any reason. You don't have to state what reason it is. I mean, it could be like, this person's gay. I don't agree with their lifestyle, but they're really, really bad at their job. I can't fire them for being gay, which I'm against, but I can fire them for doing a bad job. Terrible job. Oh, poor performance. We're going to get rid of you. That's what at-will employment is. That's the law of the land in many different states. Corporations are in favor of such laws. Now, not only that, by the way, corporations also favor underpaying women, mothers, and not providing free childcare to allow these women to come to work when they have kids. So please, save me the outrage about Roe. All of this from the Democratic Party is performative. They're not fighting for you. They're fighting for their corporate donors. That's all they care about. Those politicians not only need to be replaced, but most importantly, replacing the system, fixing that system, eliminating legalized corruption, knocking it down, and making sure that we actually have a system that listens to real people, works for us, and not giant multinational corporations.